Hello, all of you. Just think about the last time that you have logged into a website. We all know the steps for login. We must need to enter our username, then the password, and then simply click on to login button. But have you ever wondered what happens to that password after you press that button? It has to travel from your device to a server somewhere on the internet. So here is the scary question. Can someone see your data while it is traveling through the internet? Yes, it might be possible. That's where HTTP and HTTPS comes in. And by the end of this video, we will know exactly why that little yes in HTTP matters most. Imagine you are logging into your bank account and you simply type the password as my password 123. You press on login, your device sends that information towards the bank server. Now imagine someone is secretly watching the network traffic and they hack your password. If there is sensitive information which is sent without proper protection, that information could potentially be exposed, right? And that's exactly why secure communication matters in nowadays. This is where HTTPS comes into the picture. But first, we need to see what is HTTP and why we need HTTPS. Think about this for a second, like if you were sending your ATM pin across the internet, would you send it as a plain text? Of course not. You would want it to get protection, and that's essentially the idea we are exploring here. So let's first see what is HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And just don't let that complicated name scare you. It's just the full form of that HTTP and that's it. Think of HTTP simply as a set of rules for communication between your client and the server. Do you remember our previous video of client versus server? The client, we are sending a request, and the server, we are sending a response back to the client. That's all about the client and server. Here, HTTP helps define how that communication between client and server actually happens, and that's it. Okay? The basic idea is that your browser will say, give me this web page, the server will respond, here it is. That's it. But there is a problem. HTTP by itself don't encrypt the communication. It is not having that feature of encryption. And when you're dealing with sensitive information, that's not ideal thing to use. And that is why we add one letter after that HTTP, and then HTTP becomes HTTPS. And the S stands for secure. So remember, now HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Here, HTTPS uses encryption to protect information while it travels between your browser and the server via internet. So, instead of your sensitive information traveling in an easily readable form, it is transformed into some different form, and that is nothing but your encrypted data. Think of it like putting your message inside a lockbox before sending it. Someone might see that box traveling, right? But they shouldn't be able to simply open it and read what is there inside of that box. So that is the logic behind updating the version of HTTP. Okay? Okay. So now we will simply see where this HTTPS is important. Okay. So it is important for things like passwords, payment information, personal information, and many more. And here is something you can check yourself. Just go to any web browser and open some website, and there you can see at the address bar of websites you might visit, you will often see a log icon, like a log when the connection is using HTTPS. Go and see currently. Okay, you will able to see the log icon. Okay, so let's make this super simple now. Imagine you want to send your friend the message like, hello, how are you? With a basic unprotected message, someone who intercepts it may be able to read. But with encryption, the message can be transformed into something that looks like this. It doesn't look like simple hello anymore. The data is encrypted while traveling. The intended recipient can then use the appropriate cryptographic mechanisms to turn it back into the plain text. So think Like HTTP is the plain communication that two persons actually do face to face, but HTTPS is the communication plus encryption that we mostly use onto our social media platforms. So here is your quick question. You are entering your credit card details on a website and tell me, what would you prefer, HTTP or HTTPS? Tell me in the comment sections, please. So that is how we have covered what is HTTP and what is HTTPS. We have seen the basic difference among both of them, but we have never answered the biggest question. How do we actually tell a computer what to do? That's where programming begins. In the next video, we'll simply see what is programming and how do we give instructions to computers. If this video found you helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to CodePaath. I will see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep coding. Thank you all of you.